What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Kid Taj. This is going to be a little quick video about Dwayne Wade, and if you haven't noticed, we got some gameplay from the new NBA 2K18 prelude. I know you've probably played it or seen it, but yeah, I do gameplay a lot on this channel, but we're all sticking to basketball anyway, just when, I don't feel like doing highlights all the time just because I can't monetize them. I said it a lot, but yeah, let's get into this. Dwayne Wade, he's on the Bulls. I'm a Bulls fan. I mention this like all the time, but him being on the Bulls is a real problem, and it's something that we could see it solved. I know that Dwayne Wade doesn't want to play for Chicago. None of the Bulls players want him there because they want to, have the spotlight to themselves, and why should they want Dwayne Wade there? Dwayne Wade doesn't even, he's just in there for the money. He's not developing his skills. It's a young team that should be rebuilding, and there's absolutely no point in having a guy like Dwayne Wade on that team, and the only reason why he's there because the front office was dumb enough to sign him to a $24 million a year deal, which is still like one of the more underratedly awful deals of the past few years that the Chicago Bulls do. I mean, the Bulls are infamous for making bad front office decisions. This should be right up there with them, honestly. It's just not that bad because they're going to be bad anyway. They want to be bad anyway. But look, I mean, you get guys more minutes, guys more time. And if you trade Dwayne Wade away, or not trade, but you get rid of Dwayne Wade, you can get Zach LaVine that starting shooting guard spot, and you won't need Dwayne Wade there to like clog up space and take the ball. And look, no disrespect to the guy, because I know he can still play, but I'm just saying teams could use Dwayne Wade off the bench. Like, good teams could use Dwayne Wade off the bench, and Dwayne Wade could go to a good team and be able to play for something. So, if you're looking at it from the point of view of Dwayne Wade, you think, yeah, I could take this $24 million and chill, right? Or you could leave. And look, a buyout, it's not like he's not getting paid that money if he agrees to a buyout. Okay, they'd have to agree to a certain value, but he'd still be getting paid more than he'd be getting paid, somewhere else. Like, the buyout money would be definitely at least 10 mil, like 12 mil, maybe something like that. So I'm not exactly sure. Maybe it's more, maybe it's less, but I'm pretty sure it's up of 10 or 12 mil. Dwayne Wade is still getting good enough money. He gets to leave Chicago. I don't even think he really wants to play there. I just think he's there for that money, that big check. And so, if he doesn't opt out, or if he doesn't, agree to the buyout, I should say, it's pretty much the Bulls' own fault because they signed him to the deal in the first place. I mean, he's doing them a favor if he decides to leave, and really he's doing himself one as well in terms of, does he care about winning? Does he care about, playing for something? Is that what he wants to do? But when we talk about that, I mention this because of the Miami Heat. There are reports that the Miami Heat want Dwayne Wade back if he's willing to agree to a bench role, and I think it was nothing over $4.3 million a year. Now, at first, you hear the name Dwayne Wade, and you hear that number of 4.3, and you hear that those words, bench role, and a lot of people are gonna be like, what? The people think that the Heat are disrespecting Dwayne Wade for this, and if you didn't know, you should know that Pat Riley is strictly business, okay? The reason why Dwayne Wade left in the first place is because he felt disrespected by Pat Riley because he wasn't being offered that much money, because Wade, he was a guy that always sacrificed for the team, so they were able to sign LeBron James and get them a few rings, and he was thinking, okay, maybe they'll pay me back, like what the Lakers did with Kobe. But instead, Pat Riley's saying, look, we're not trying to waste that money, because, while it is like nice and it's like supporting their franchise player, and it's saying, look, Dwayne Wade goes down as an all-time Heat player and, a guy who stayed with one team his whole career, there's no point in throwing away that money when you could be building a team that could be good. And I actually think that He'd have a team that, a few more pieces and they could be championship level contending type team. And people might laugh at that. Well, look, I mean, this team went 31-10 to end last season. They have Hassan Whiteside, a guy in the middle. They have Goran Dragic and Dion Waiters and James Johnson. They have a really good young core. And like I said, I mean, if they added Gordon Hayward over the offseason, for example, they would be up there in the top teams in the East. Top 3 for sure, I would say, because that team is awesome. I mean, just, you can't argue with that. I think the Heat are one of the better teams, like top 5 in the Eastern Conference. I thought they were going to finish 5. I think they're going to finish 5. That's my prediction for this season. They're going to finish 5th. So what I'm basically saying is that this team is like, well, why would we just stop there? We don't need to put Dwayne Wade on this with this big money. We don't need to give him that. We can get other players that can help us more, because Dwayne Wade, for all the people that are like, man, you can't disrespect D Wade. How are you going to throw that type of money at him? How are you going to tell him to be a bench player? Look, Dwayne Wade, with all due respect to his prime career and where he was an MVP candidate, he was a top 3, top 5 player in the NBA, where he led a team as the number 1 guy to an NBA championship. Those years, it's not even remotely close to the Dwayne Wade that we have today. Dwayne Wade today, his production, frankly, isn't that good. And that's not disrespect, but it's true. Dwayne Wade can't defend like he used to. He still isn't a good 3-point threat. And he's not athletic like he used to be, so he can't really, be a Westbrook type, like, I can always score even though my 3-point shot isn't that good. Even though Westbrook's 3-point shot isn't better, but that's off topic. Dwayne Wade doesn't have that explosiveness anymore. He's still crafty. He can still create shots in the post and such. He can still make that mid-range shot. But it's not that often that he's going to be a guy you want in your starting lineup, because he's another player that needs the ball to be effective, because he can't space the floor and he can't really guard people as well as he used to. So, as a starter, if he's going to be on the court, you want him to have the ball, and if you're going to throw him on a team that's good, you have players better than Dwayne Wade that you want to have the ball in their hands of. So it makes perfect sense to throw the guy on the bench, and when he comes in with the second unit, he'll be the best player on the team or on the court, or one of the best players, so you're comfortable with him having the ball, and it works out. The bench role is really the only role for Dwayne Wade at this point, unless he's on like a terrible team like the Bulls. If he goes to a team that's going to be decent, that already has, a player that they want to have the ball, or 2 that they want to be the leaders of the team, Dwayne Wade is not a star anymore. He's not that go-to guy that he used to be. So I think maybe the 4.3 mil, especially for Miami, I don't know. I don't know how appealing that's going to be to D Wade, but I think that a bench role definitely shouldn't be something that you should say, like, why would the bench role? I think if he goes to Cleveland, it would be absolutely ridiculous to put him in the starting lineup. That's just how I feel. Wait, he's 35, 36 years old, something like that. And if you start him and Isaiah Thomas isn't playing, do you really want D Rose, D Wade, and LeBron starting? I feel like that would be a nightmare. And I know that Dwayne Wade has chemistry with LeBron, but seriously, D Rose and D Wade in a backcourt, as a Bulls fan, I know that's just not gonna work. And Cleveland in general is weird, because then if he goes to Cleveland and he plays on the bench, then it's like, well, D Rose is going to be on the bench when Isaiah comes back anyway, so you're going to have them playing together probably. And 2 guys that can't shoot threes and can't guard and are guards and need the ball, I'm sorry, but that doesn't work. And you pair it with LeBron, another guy that LeBron's not a sharpshooter and he wants the ball. So what's the point of having both? So, you know what? I think the Heat is actually a good spot for him on the bench, because that team could use someone like him on the bench and a veteran to, help guide them to keep their heads on straight. I don't think that's a bad idea. I think D Wade could definitely serve a team well in that way. I don't think he has any motive to, do anything for Chicago. He probably doesn't even like the Bulls. He just wants that money, and he's going to keep taking that money unless they agree to some sort of buyout, which would be more interesting, because we could see him on a really good team, whether it be in the East or the West. Man, if he goes to the West, that would be weird, but that'd also be why is everybody in the West? It's just more people in the West, right? So, I don't know, that's going to do it. I'm out. Let me know what you think about this. I think, obviously I want him to leave and to go to Miami. That's the best case scenario for me, because Bulls, we need to get our young players minutes and be as bad as we can. So, yeah. I'm out. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.